identifying yourself for me, if you don't mind.
Detective Inspector Richard Hamlin.
Detective Inspector Richard Hamlin. Okay, no worries.
So, I just need to let my colleagues know what you're doing.
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah.
Can I ask why you're recording it?
Just for my own interests.
Okay. So, from my point of view, you know, I need to consider security of the police station.
Yep.
It's unusual for somebody to be filming.
Well, you may feel it's unusual, but I don't.
Okay. So why? What's your motivation for filming?
It's a public service what we pay for.
Okay. It's unusual. You're the first person I've ever known in 25 years.
No. I'm quite sure that you know about people filming police stations.
Well, it concerns me, I've got to say.
Yeah, but whether or not it concerns you or not, and what the actual law is, okay, your concern and what the law is are completely different, because what I'm doing is a completely lawful activity. Okay. And as long as I break no laws, commit no crime, then I'm well within my actual rights to do what I'm doing.
Okay.
And regardless to what anyone's views and opinions are, those views and opinions do not trump my rights.
Okay. And can I ask your name?
I don't need to give that.
Okay. So you're giving me some cause for concern now, because you're next to the police station.
Well, why do I need to give my name?
Because you're filming the police station.
So because I'm doing a lawful activity, I'm meant to give my name. Is that what you're saying?
I didn't say that, did I? What I said to you is, I've given you my name, I'm asking yours, I'm slightly concerned what your motivation is.
Yeah, and as I said, I don't need to give my name.
Okay. Can you take your hands out of your pockets for me?
No, I don't need to. I don't need to do anything you ask me.
Okay, you're being slightly obstructive. You're not giving me your name.
No,
your hands
I don't.
In your pocket, and I'm slightly concerned.
Yeah, my hands were in my pocket even before you got here, sir.
Okay, I'm being completely reasonable with you. Take your hands out of your pocket so I can...
No, don't tell me what to do. I don't need to do anything. Okay, if you need to, please take a step back. Please step backwards, okay? You approach me. No, you approach me, okay? If you're unsure, then I would actually advise you then to please step backwards. I would stand in here and I would ask you to actually step back, please,
So
sir.
what I will say to you is, I don't need to take a step back. I'm quite...
And I don't need to take my hand out of my pocket.
But what I said is, okay, could you take your hands...
And I said no, because I don't need to.
Okay. Well, then it gives me concern that you may be...
What? Because I've got pockets in my clothing and my hand goes into a pocket, that's giving you concern.
What's giving me concern is it's very unusual for somebody to come and film a police station.
No, it's not. It's not.
I've never known it before.
Then if that's the case, then you are well and truly behind the times as an officer in your position.
But I've never known it. And what I've got is a chap who won't give me his name, who's got his hand in his pocket, who's giving me calls for concern.
Okay, so my hand in my pocket, okay, doing a completely lawful activity, okay, because of your feelings, not what the law is. Those are your feelings. That's not the law.
What I'm telling you is,
no, please don't tell me. Please do not tell me.
You're doing an unusual activity, and you've got your hand.
Is it lawful? Is it lawful?
I've been quite reasonable with you, and I'm asking.
Alright guys, buckle up because what you're about to see is a perfect clash between lawful rights and police authority pushed a little too far. The moment our auditor arrives outside this police station, the atmosphere instantly shifts. A senior officer, Detective Inspector Richard Hamlin, approaches with visible concern about the camera pointed toward the building. Now on the surface, that might seem reasonable. After all, a police station is a sensitive place, right? But here's the twist, filming from a public area is completely legal. And that's where the tension begins. The officer asks questions, probing for motives, trying to understand why someone would record a police facility. Meanwhile, the auditor calmly stands his ground, explaining that the activity is lawful and that personal curiosity or public interest is more than enough reason. From the very first minute, you can already see the core issue forming, the difference between what feels suspicious and what the law actually allows.
Lawful.
At the moment, it would appear to be.
Right, it is, okay? Well, there you go, okay? You've answered your own question. So whatever you do as of this point, okay, will be unlawful because of what you've just stated.
Because I've asked you to take your hand out of
and I said no.
I
don't have to take orders from you.
I didn't ask you to take orders from you.
Telling me to take my hand out of my pocket is an order.
No,
okay? And I said no. Okay? And I don't have to do that.
So I'll ask you again, what's your name, please?
I don't have to give my name.
Okay. I've tried to be quite reasonable with you.
Yeah, and I've done nothing wrong. I do not have to give my details. That is my lawful right not to give my details. okay, and me having my hand in my own pocket, okay, whatever your concerns and your feelings are, those are your concerns and feelings.
The inspector's request here falls short. The simple test is, an officer's feelings don't create suspicion. Having a hand in a pocket is a normal, everyday action, not reasonable grounds for suspicion of a crime. By treating it as a threat, the officer appears to be manufacturing concern to justify his questioning. Will he escalate from here?
Okay. So, you said this is an unusual activity.
No, you said that.
No, you said that.
No, you said it was unusual.
I said it seemed a very unusual activity.
Yeah,
so
and I said to you, it may seem unusual. To me, it's not.
Okay. So have you done this before?
Okay. It's irrelevant whether or not I've done it before.
Okay. Well, what I'm asking for is because I've never met you before. Okay, I need to know a little bit more about what's going on here.
Okay, right. Well then, if that's the case, okay, can you give me your date of birth, okay, and your home address?
Right. Okay. I've given you my details.
Okay. No, give me your date of birth and home address.
You're asking me
no, well, you want personal information of mine. Okay, that's my personal information. That's not my work information. That's my personal information.
You've done this before. That's not personal information.
Okay, my name is my personal information, and I said that's irrelevant.
Okay, because you said it's not uncommon.
I said it's irrelevant. Correct.
All right. So you're not prepared to give me your name?
I don't need to give you my name.
You're not prepared to take your hand out of your pocket?
I don't need to take my hand out of my pocket.
Okay.
So, and as I said, okay, if you're feeling that bothered, then please do take a step back away from me.
I'm not
You've
bothered.
walked to me.
I don't need to. I mean, the fact that you're telling me to take a step back again just adds to concern that you offer a risk to me. You're posing a threat.
Well, no. I'm saying I'm going off of what you're saying to do with my hand in my pocket. If you don't like my hand in my pocket, then move away from me. Then.
If I believed you had something which could harm me in your pocket.
Well, how do I know what you got in that bag? That if you actually take a swing at me, that it might knock me out.
Okay, because I'm not going to do that.
Well, there you go. So please don't make an assumption on me because I haven't made one on you.
So, as a police officer working at this police station, I've asked you what you're doing.
Yep. And as a member of the public, okay, I have the right to ask questions to whatever officer is actually on duty. Okay, I have a right to actually film police premises. I have a right to film police property, officers.
Now watch this carefully, because this is where things start getting intense. The officer begins pressing harder for personal details, asking the auditor to identify himself and even questioning why his hands are inside his pockets. Sounds simple, right? But legally speaking, none of that is required unless a crime is suspected. And that's exactly the point the auditor keeps making. Calm but firm, he explains that standing in a public place, filming a public building, and choosing not to give his name are all lawful actions. The officer, however, continues to frame the situation as concerning, suggesting that unusual behavior might justify further questioning. But here's the problem: feeling concerned is not the same as having legal grounds. The auditor repeatedly reminds the inspector that opinions and personal discomfort do not override civil rights. And right here, ladies and gentlemen, you're witnessing a classic moment where knowledge of the law becomes the most powerful tool a citizen can have.
So, you're a chief inspector, yes?
No, detective inspector.
Detective inspector, right. What I'm going to do, okay, just so you don't get paranoid, okay, right, I'm going to take a memo out of my bag that got issued to every single police station, and I'm going to hand it to you to read.
Thank you.
Okay?
If it helps me understand why you're here.
Well, this is what I call a first-class education, and that is what this is. Okay, it is a complete first-class education. Okay, now you know who the NPCC are, yes?
I do.
Right. Okay. Right. There we go. Okay. If you'd like to take it, you can actually read through it.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, take it as long as you want. It makes no difference for me. Okay, you can see the date of when that was issued as well. So, and that got issued to every single force. So that's why I said, before people actually come and make assumptions, they should actually know what people can lawfully do.
To be fair, if you go back to the start of the conversation, and you've clearly recorded it, so you can do. I was asking you what you were doing. I haven't told you any. I haven't asked you to stop, have I?
Okay. Well, you were trying to tell me to take my hand out of my pocket.
Because
you were trying to force me to give you my name.
You to take your hand out of your pocket because it gives me concern. But you've got your hand in your pocket, and I want to keep myself safe.
And I want to keep myself safe.
I just want to make sure that you haven't got anything in there.
And why do you think I keep a distance from you?
Well, you haven't really.
No, I have.
We're at a
conversation. I have. It's more than an arm's length. If we were shoulder to shoulder, then that's not keeping a distance. So does that now give you a much better idea now?
What I'm reading?
Yep.
Yeah, it does.
So, and that's why I said, that is with every single force and in every single police station.
But you could have just given me.
I don't need. Yeah, but I don't need to give you that.
Made it a lot easier.
Yeah, but I don't. Yeah, but I do not need to give. No, but the whole point. The whole point of people filming is to see whether or not you will actually abuse your officer power, okay, and actually try and take somebody's rights away from them.
Well, I hope you will see that most police officers are reasonable. You clearly can understand, but I would want to know why you were here.
Okay, right. Well then, as a detective inspector, okay, right now, okay, with Surrey Police Force, okay, do you know how many officers are currently on suspension from 2021 to 22?
Nationally?
No, just Surrey.
No, I don't
only
know.
Surrey.
No,
okay.
I don't work in
Surrey.
You
alright? I'm good, thank you.
What are you filming for?
Pardon?
What are you filming for?
For my own purpose.
What purpose is that?
My own.
Pardon?
My own.
Right, okay. What's the matter, Steve?
Do I need a purpose to film?
Huh?
Do I need a purpose to film?
Well, normally you do.
No, I don't.
Let the man get out.
Well, first of all, could you identify yourself?
So the number's there. 1171 NA.
If you could actually say what the numbers are, please. Not everyone can actually read them.
1171 NA. No
Thank
worries.
you.
So what's the purpose of filming today?
For my own purpose.
Yeah, what's the purpose?
My own purpose.
Just what's the purpose?
Because I want to film.
Okay. Obviously, when we see people filming outside, we get a little bit worried.
Yes.
There's terrorism, things like that.
Okay, so
That's
you're calling
why we
me a
asked.
terrorist?
I'm asking your purpose.
Okay, well then can you tell me then the last time when a police station was actually hit by a terrorist?
Well, that's not the point.
Okay, yes it is the point, because it's predominantly, okay, it will be the public that will get hit by a terrorist, not the police.
I think that's incorrect.
No, it's not incorrect. You've only got to look at past events, okay, and you will actually see that. And then when you look at the last police station, that actually got hit by a bomb, okay, was in 1972.
By a terrorist. How about that?
Okay, yeah, that was a stabbing.
Yeah, that's a terrorist act.
Okay, yeah. So then, if that's the case, then should we then talk about a certain officer that killed a young woman when he was in uniform? No, but that was a member of the police. That was a member of the police, okay, that actually killed a member of the public.
Right.
Okay.
So what's the point of that and terrorism?
Because it's my right, okay.
I'm not saying it's
to
not your
film,
right, but I'm asking why you're filming.
Because I can.
Yeah, but for what reason? So you've
my own reason. My own reason. I don't need to explain to you why I want to film.
But we're asking you why. I mean, we've got powers under the Terrorist Act.
What, section 43?
To search you.
And if you use section 43, okay, it will be unlawful for one.
For why?
Okay,
why is
because
that?
It's my lawful right. And if you actually read the actual memo that got sent by the IOPCC, back in 2020, right, it will actually state that people can actually film a police station, okay, police staff, police vehicles, okay, and section 43 should not be used, okay, in that actual event.
Reconnaissance? What about that?
Okay.
What if we see you filming outside a police?
Alright, now things take another turn. Instead of backing off, the officer doubles down, suggesting that the auditor's refusal to cooperate, keeping his hands in his pockets and declining to give his name, somehow increases suspicion. But again, none of that changes the legal reality. The auditor points out something crucial: having your hands in your pockets is normal human behavior, not evidence of a crime. Yet the officer continues to frame it as a safety concern. This moment perfectly illustrates something many viewers might miss: sometimes authority figures unintentionally create suspicion where none exists. It's called manufactured concern, and it often happens when officers try to justify questioning someone who is simply exercising their rights. Meanwhile, the auditor remains calm and methodical, refusing to be intimidated. Instead of escalating emotionally, he sticks to facts, reminding the officer that lawful activity cannot suddenly become suspicious just because someone finds it unusual.
That's not public.
It makes no difference. I can film.
Yeah, so we've come out.
Hang on, you say that that's private, okay? That is owned by the public.
But it's
Okay.
private. You need a pass to get in.
Who's going in? I'm not getting in.
Ground.
I'm not getting in.
So I've asked you.
You made a presumption
why are you-
that I may
why-
go in.
Well, yeah, of course.
Okay, you made a
We can't
presumption.
take that chance. Because
Yeah, I know.
apparently terrorists don't attack us. They do. I've just gave an example, haven't I? A few
Yeah,
years ago.
and then should we then talk about actual people then that get abused by the police on a daily basis?
Is that what you're filming for?
Okay.
Are you seeing if police are abusing people within the custody?
Well, yeah, you tried to say about using Section 43, okay, and that would have been an abuse of power.
Well, it's not an abuse of
You
power.
used,
You're
you said the
filming
terrorism
a
act,
police
yeah,
building,
which is a completely
which
lawful
could be seen
activity.
as
It's a
hostile
completely
persons.
lawful activity.
Right. But
It's
it
a
could be
lawful
seen-
activity.
You're not letting me speak.
It makes no difference.
Well,
Good afternoon.
Hello, have you spoken to one of our colleagues earlier?
I've spoken to several of your colleagues.
At the police station, yeah?
Yeah.
That is in out here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Could you identify yourself for
Yes,
me, please?
PC McKenna, 1263 November.
Thank you very much.
why do you get so anti when police come and speak to you?
I'm not anti.
Surely it's a good thing.
No, I've
that
had
we're
I've
being
had
protected from our
several
buildings.
good interactions here today.
Right.
Okay, with 3 other officers. I've had
Okay.
some really nice interactions with them.
Okay. So you're
Right,
saying this isn't
and
a
not
nice
not one of them even attempted to bring up to do with terrorists.
Well, the first thing
Not
I see
one of
when
them.
people come outside a police building and start filming, that's the first thing I see. That's what I think. That's it.
Well, then you need to actually rethink your actual mindset, okay?
I don't think so.
Well, yes, you do, okay? And when you see a member of the public, whether or not they're filming or not, okay, maybe if you actually approach and say, can I help you, okay, like you did when you stuck your head out the van,
I did.
okay, but then it should be, okay, is there anything else I can do for you, whatever, okay? I should be allowed to carry on and do what I'm lawfully allowed to
I've
do,
allowed you to. You've been filming me for ages.
okay,
So I've allowed you to.
okay? Well, it's not about you allowing me to.
You've just told me to allow you to.
It's not about you allowing me to, it's something that I'm rightfully within my rights to do so.
Right, okay. You've just told me to allow you to. I have for about 10 minutes now. So
What's
Okay.
what's your first name?
I won't give my name.
Okay. What are you auditing? Just out of interest.
Pardon?
You're auditing, right?
I am,
What
correct.
Are you auditing?
A public building, okay, and a public service.
What is it? Just the amount of police?
Now here's where things get really interesting. The auditor pulls out a document, a memo issued to police forces nationwide, explaining the legality of filming police stations and officers from public spaces. This isn't just some random paper either, it comes from official oversight bodies that guide police conduct. In other words, the very rules the officer is supposed to follow are now being handed directly to him. And suddenly the tone begins to shift. The officer reads the memo, realizing that the situation isn't what he originally assumed. The auditor explains that filming police activity is part of public accountability, a way for citizens to ensure that authority is exercised fairly. It's not about harassment or provocation, it's about transparency. And this moment right here is powerful, because instead of shouting or arguing, the auditor uses education and documentation to demonstrate exactly why his actions are protected under the law.
Moment there, and especially with the Met, and then even then if you look at homicide police, okay, there is a massive divide between the public and the police. There is a massive divide. Okay, and that divide is something that needs to be closed, because we need a police force without any shadow of doubt. It's very important that we have one.
Yeah. It's a good relationship.
Thank
That's
you.
why initially PCSOs were introduced. Initially.
Yeah, but then now there's loads of mixed views to do with that, okay, whether or not that was the actual right thing, or was it actually about actually trying to get trained officers in.
they are
mean?
trained officers.
Well, no,
They're civil, weren't they? But
yeah, okay,
I used to be,
they're not in the same level as you guys as constables.
No.
They're not in the same level.
they don't have the same powers.
Yeah.
Correct.
as such. Yeah, it's not that
Okay.
they've got their own job. It's not the same level. It's just that they don't.
Yeah, they've been put in as
the bridge.
as a replacement, okay, to what used to be the whole old home beat officers, okay, where they go out onto different estates.
That's
okay,
you've
and try and
got them.
engage.
You've got safer neighbourhoods, haven't you?
Yeah.
So then you've got the PCSOs that attach to the safer neighbourhoods. The majority of them, not all of them, obviously, and they're trying to bridge that gap. So is that what you're trying to look into then?
Well, yeah, it's to see how the police actually feel, okay, to do with it, and that's why I said I've had some good interactions where an officer came out to me. He turned around and went, "You're auditing." I went, "Yes."
Do you understand why we come up and question you?
Yeah,
but a lot of people that, as you've already said, there's a lot of people that really don't like us.
Yep. I welcome any interaction. But as soon as try and say about the Terrorist Act, okay, and all the rest of it, okay, then that is when, okay, it won't go down the same line as what a normal civil conversation would have been.
That's what we're trying to notice, and that's what it is linked with, because people gathering information from police buildings, and then they use that information and unfortunately become quite destructive.
Well, any place really. It could be a tube station, train station.
Yeah, well, just remember, everything that I'm filming now, okay, can also be seen on Google Earth.
Right.
Okay, the only difference is the actual interaction, okay, between myself and officers, because I can see the whole police station and everything from Google Earth.
But
okay,
you have to see how
many people come in and out, what times the people come in and out.
I'm curious. Just to,
I don't care how many officers go in and out. I don't care what times they go in and out. Okay. I'm not here for that.
But when I came out straight away, I said, "Oh, what are you doing?" And you didn't want to tell me. But if you just said, "I do an audit, I do it on all public buildings," then it would have.
But I don't have to justify what I'm doing.
But I'm asking you a question. Just
yes.
like if we walked past in the street and you wanted to ask me a question,
yep.
I'd answer it.
And I said, what did I turn around and say to you? What I was doing?
A purpose.
Okay.
That's it.
For my own interest.
Yeah.
No,
okay. No, you didn't say your own interest. You said a purpose.
Yeah, my own purpose.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you look at it, my own purpose is my own business.
Right.
Okay. And if I don't wish to tell you what that business is, I do not have to tell you what that business is.
Okay, but when you're videoing places like this, you
yeah.
can't get all angsty when people come
okay,
and ask
so then
it's our job to come and ask
so then do you go up to everybody then that's filming Buckingham Palace, okay, and 10 Downing Street, okay, and stop them all?
That's not my job to do that.
Do you go round to every single place, like even then when you look at the Olympic Park, okay, that's not far from here, even then when you look at that, okay, do you walk up to everyone that's got a camera?
It's not my job.
Okay, do you walk up to everyone who you can see with a phone?
This is a normal police station, isn't it?
Yep, and this is just, and I'm just a
with
normal member of the public with a phone.
The first thought is, well, why is he filming? And that's what's come last year.
Okay, so, and that's why I said to you that instead of actually doing it exactly as you've done, okay, and you've been very polite and very professional, and I will say that, and that's how a conversation should be fully conducted, exactly how it was with the other officers that I spoke to previously.
So what's your plan for the rest of the day? You're going to carry on monitoring?
I have no idea yet. I have no idea. I just take it.
But just when it seems like the tension might settle down, another officer steps in and introduces a completely different angle: terrorism concerns. Yes, you heard that right. The suggestion is that filming outside a police station could potentially fall under counter-terrorism powers, specifically Section 43 of the Terrorism Act. Now that's a serious claim. But here's the key detail: those powers require reasonable suspicion of terrorist activity, not just someone holding a camera. The auditor immediately pushes back, explaining that lawful filming alone cannot justify such a search. He even references official guidance that warns officers not to misuse counter-terrorism laws for routine situations like this. It's a textbook example of how powerful legislation can sometimes be misunderstood or misapplied. And once again, the auditor calmly dismantles the argument with facts, turning what could have been intimidation into another lesson in legal awareness.
I only know because I've spoken to the officers that stopped you earlier. If you continue to film, probably more officers are going to ask you what you're doing.
And that's fine. That's fine. And I welcome any interaction.
Well, you didn't really welcome mine, but no worries.
Well, maybe you should look at the way that you actually approach first.
But you said I was fine in the van.
Okay, yeah, and it was when you got out, your tone changed.
Right.
Okay.
You said it was when I mentioned the Terrorism Act,
okay.
Which was a good 10 minutes into the conversation.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. The camera footage will actually show that. Also, as well, you didn't have that on straight away. Okay. Okay. And just make sure, okay, that does actually get kept, because I will be requesting a copy of that.
For a policing purpose, it can get kept. So I have to justify why I've kept.
No.
Yes, I do.
Once I put in a request, okay, I had 30 days before it is actually deleted.
Correct.
Okay,
so
and it's in that time. Okay, and it's in that time that I will request a copy of it.
Okay,
and that's why I said, okay,
but
please make sure.
For a policing purpose, we can't save our body.
Okay.
It has to be for a policing purpose.
Okay. Yeah. And This is a policing purpose.
What's the purpose?
Okay, because we're having an interaction. Okay, and if you actually look, or even on the Met's own website, okay,
We don't record every interaction.
I know you don't, but you are recording this interaction.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's why I said I will request a copy of
No
it.
problem. But like I said, I can't save it unless it's recorded.
Okay.
Which is fine.
With staff there.
Alright?
Or
Yep, no
you
worries.
can call up 101, which I'll write on here, and you can say, I would like to know your complaint about the list. Yeah. Okay? Do you want to just find the chemicals? And they will be able to make a complaint for you on the phone. They'll be able to sort it out. Okay, so we'll contact you.
You are talking about on the telephone? Or
Yeah. So if you call up on your phone 101 and just say, I'd like to make a complaint to the police.
So a
in regards
question,
to this
what are you
matter.
auditing now by just filming me
And then
listening to
this
this?
police station is your
I'm not listening to him.
No, me listening to him. I am.
Okay?
So I'm asking, like, what's the purpose of
Because
you
there's no
filming me
actual,
just to...
like, working front office
Just
here.
curious,
They
like,
make
I'm just
complaints.
curious why.
The complaints
Because
go on the phone,
you're
phone number, which is
an officer on duty, okay, looking very unprofessional with your hands tucked in your actual body warmer.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're not allowed to put our hands in our pockets.
Yeah, I know. Well, that looks even worse. That looks even worse.
That's fine, but we're allowed to do
Okay.
this. We're
Yeah, I
not allowed
know,
to
but
put our hands
it
in our
looks a lot worse. Trust me, it looks a lot worse.
Okay, that's fine, but we've got rules. I'm not allowed to put my hands in my pockets.
Okay.
They're a lot more accessible from here compared to down here.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of rules that are there. Okay, i.e. to do with the way that you also identify as well. Okay, it's like where you first actually just sort of dipped your shoulder and then pointed at your actual
But
number.
if you listen to the thing, I say that's my number 1171NA, and then you say, can you actually say it?
Yeah, but that's the whole.
Alright folks, this is where the tone finally begins to shift for the better. A different officer approaches the situation with a noticeably calmer attitude. Instead of demanding answers or raising suspicions, he simply starts a conversation. He asks questions, listens to responses, and acknowledges that the auditor has every right to film from a public space. And just like that, the tension starts to dissolve. This moment highlights something incredibly important: policing through dialogue instead of authority. When officers engage respectfully rather than defensively, interactions become productive rather than confrontational. The auditor even acknowledges this, explaining that many of his encounters with police have been positive when officers approach with professionalism. And that's the real takeaway here: when both sides communicate calmly and respectfully, situations that once looked like conflict can transform into genuine discussions about public rights and responsibilities.